Okay, guys, I'm flying to Guayaquil. That's the plane being prepped now. And this is the first time in my life that even arms dealers, or people who are no stranger to drug trafficking, have tried talking me out of flying somewhere, all because Guayaquil is a port city on the coast of Ecuador. Basically, it became the crime capital for all of South America, the main port of call for drug trading. Every day, every hour, someone is killed in this city. But I'm not flying to Guayaquil just to be a bag of nerves. I'm interested in understanding how and why people live there, despite the constantly growing levels of violence. What's more, people don't just live there, but move there specially, and they like it. That's what I want to understand.
A group of bandits has attacked and captured the studio of TC's television. Let the police come!
In January 2024, the city of Guayaquil gained worldwide popularity when a group of gangsters attacked the main TV channel in the area. They stormed a live broadcast with weapons and explosives.
Chaos. They wanted to create chaos.
At this time, the entire city was one huge battlefield between various criminal groups and the government. They recorded videos like these, threatening to kill the president and shoot down the whole government. And this was no bluff, as several months before this, one of Ecuador's presidential candidates was murdered. It became clear that the Ecuadorian authorities were not in control of the situation at all. The country plunged into a state of panic. All right, guys, I've arrived in Guayaquil. The airport here is awesome. It's so green here. Let's see what the city's like. Right at the airport, I'm met by Genia and Ronaldo, who live in Guayaquil. Hey there, hey.
Nice to meet you.
My name's Stas.
Hola.
Nice to meet you. I was told I'd definitely be met at the airport, as getting to the city from the airport is dangerous when you're alone. Guayaquil is the largest port in Ecuador. Besides that, it's at the heart of the world's main cocaine region. Several years ago, this city became the central hub for drug transportation to the US, Europe, and Asia. Because of that, Ecuador turned from a quiet tourist paradise into the most dangerous country in Latin America, overtaking Mexico and Brazil. I'll go into detail later about how drugs are exported from here. The cartels are extremely inventive.
Guayaquil is the main point for transportation and dispatch of drugs. It's a very appealing spot for drug traffickers, and there's an active mafia presence here. In Duran, where we live, it's very dangerous. There's no way we could just cruise around in the car like this. Maybe only if we film stuff on the slide. Ronaldo was really concerned that we needed to show Duran somehow. He wants there to be some awesome, interesting shots from here.
Yeah?
So that people can see.
Okay.
But it truly is super dangerous to shoot here.
Well, hang on. What could happen? I'm holding my camera like this. Is that okay?
So look, the people around, if you see normal people, so we're driving through the region, a person sitting there. He, for example, is trading something. He might be treating sorveche, it's a fish-based snack, but say he's seen you and he might be loyal to the mafia. He calls them up and reads out our registration plate to them. And then we've got a pair of bikes on our tail. And they'll tail you until they feel it's the opportune moment to strike. That can happen in the blink of an eye here. You don't know who's loyal, which of them have got contacts.
Now that's the most luxurious region, right?
Yeah, the most luxurious. There you've got the favelas on the mountain, in contrast.
Yeah, look at the contrast.
Yeah, here you've got favelas, and here's the most luxurious region, and there's just a road to separate them. What catches your eye straight away is the number of police, soldiers, and private security. There are people in uniform everywhere.
Soldiers are patrolling. They're in a camionette. It's a truck with an open back where you can stuff in around 10 people. They're armed to the teeth. They're driving around. They're watching everywhere. They're controlling everything. That's why it's relatively calmer now. But this is nevertheless the calm before the storm. Because when the mafia were deprived of the opportunity to perform holdups at traffic lights, for instance, a taxi stops on red at the lights. A motorcyclist rides up with a pistol, takes everything he sees, and rides off. And these holdups happen in the 30 seconds when the light's on red.
Yeah.
Now there
And
are
now you've got
patrols.
police standing at the lights.
Now there are patrols, vigilantes. They're watching. Now they've started stealing from people because it turned out to be more profitable.
This is how illegal weaponry is sold in Ecuador. Is this a pneumatic rifle?
No, it's a battle rifle.
The seller, let's call him Jorge, whose real name he asked not to disclose, is showing us specially prepared rare goods. Do you have a silencer for it there? How is it fitted? Uh-huh. Wow. Oh. The weapons trader Jorge says that his customers are those who want to protect themselves. He agreed to meet with me during the daytime in his elite neighborhood to tell me how this business operates.
There are lots of weapons that come to us on the black market from a country in North America.
From the U.S.
From the USA, yeah. Now it's mainly rifles, the M16 or the M4 rifle. Large caliber rifles, automatic rifles. AK-47s are also imported, coming to us from various places. Now naturally not from the USA. They're imported from Russia or from countries where they're manufactured on license. There's a whole lot of such weapons on the black market.
But how do weapons enter the country in such quantities? For instance, I understand that shifting drugs is hard, but still, you don't need to transport such a huge amount to make a killing off them. Whereas with weapons, they're hefty things. It's hard to import them unnoticed in large shipments. How do they get them in? How does that work?
The weapons are brought in, for example, by ships which dock very far from the ports, from our ports in Ecuador. Now, from there, the product is unloaded onto boats, on speedboats, which take it away to small secret harbors and hide it there. Another method that is used is planes, small planes, which take the drugs out. It's a round trip there and back. They take the drugs there and bring a container of money back with them. And naturally, you can place weapons in that container. The guns that end up on the black market are more often than not imported. This is exactly how they do it, by sea or by air, using planes, and it's almost always done by those in the drug trade. Meaning large criminal groups, most of which are one way or another under the control of the Mexican cartels.
For the cartels, Ecuador is the most important port of call in their control. The drugs are shifted by any means possible, but one of the most common methods is in bananas.
The Italian police discovered more than 2.5 tons of cocaine hidden in bananas. Cocaine worth $18 million was found under some bananas. Here we have a container with bananas. It was pumped with carbon dioxide and phosphates. The bananas container delivered from Ecuador to South America roused the interest of two customs officers at the port in Antwerp. Bingo!
A standard situation: in a container full of bananas, they find kilograms and sometimes tons of cocaine. It's down to the fact that the bananas are sent from Ecuador while they're green and unripe, while the containers are filled with a special mix of gases so the fruits don't spoil. If the container is opened and the drugs aren't there, all the bananas will go missing and customs will have to compensate the losses. On top of that, out of the thousands of containers transferred from the country daily, only one of them might be packed with cocaine.
Ecuador is a strategically significant country for drug trafficking. And you see, that's because it's positioned between the main countries for drug production. Here you've got Colombia and Peru, and it's not far to Bolivia. So as I told you, over the last few years, violence levels in our country have shot up. Now the armed forces have been brought into the fight with the gangs. You need a lot of effort here to beat the cartels. You need all the state's resources. I think everything is only getting worse and more brutal. Crime-wise, I mean. I believe the crime can be beaten. It's just a question of political decisions. Crime can be brought to an end, and we can put an end to crime. But how do I see that happening? You just need to make the decision to act. There shouldn't be human rights for those who commit violence, who kill, and so on. Very often, our police have information about where these criminals are hiding and how to find them. But unfortunately, due to legal issues, the police simply can't take action. And it's really, really sad. As due to politics, they aren't able to do what they're supposed to do their job.
Daniel Noboa, the new president of Ecuador, is compared to the young leader of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. Until recently, El Salvador was the most dangerous country in the world and was ruled almost exclusively by the bloodiest gang on the planet, Mara Salvatrucha, or MS-13. But Bukele, practically without any trial or inquest, ordered thousands of gang members to be rounded up and locked away for life in a specially constructed prison. He was rebuked by almost every world human rights organization and even compared to Hitler. But on the bright side, El Salvador is now one of the safest countries, not only in Latin America, but in the world, and there are now fewer murders than there are in the USA. That said, Noboa in Ecuador still needs to hold his place in the chair. His predecessor, Guillermo Lasso, began with an approval rating of 73%. Half a year later, that rating began to drop sharply, and by the looks of things, in just over a year, the president's rating might collapse from 73 to 17. A year later, he was impeached. So I'll explain, you guys. We can't leave the car now because, well, I mean, I just can't walk around on the roads here and film. You just can't do that here. It is super dangerous, and I just wouldn't get far. So I can't even film anything here. The only way to film this region is to drive around it and look from inside the car.
Even with all I'd pictured, until you come here and see it with your own eyes, until you see the difference, this flair, this atmosphere, you can't even imagine where you're going. This is it for you. True Latin America. This is how it looks.
My personal feelings, I don't know. Due to the fact that I've simply read up and heard so much about these places, I've got the jitters, really. But on the whole, it just looks like the suburbs of most Latin American cities. It really does. But if you look at the police statistics and simply watch the news, you definitely realize how many people are robbed here and killed and all of that.
Also, if you pay attention, you'll see a lot of the shops are closed here. If there's some space on the first floor of a building, presumably intended for some business, the business will more likely be closed than open. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, it's all caged up. Look at the bars. Some kind of cafe and it's behind bars. Wow.
During the pandemic, a whole load of micro-businesses, of small businesses went under, most of them. And those that got through the pandemic They were dealt the final blow by vaccinators.
I first thought that she meant the people administering the COVID vaccines, and I didn't understand how that would interfere with business, but it turned out to be much simpler.
Who are vaccinators? Ronaldo, tell him. Vacunadores. Or what's the right term for them?
They're people who bribe you. They come to your workplace and make you pay a specific sum of money every month.
A racket. A racket.
Oh, a racket.
If you don't give them any money, they first attack your business. They set it alight or smash all your windows.
And everything's closed up.
Yeah, everything's just closed up.
And if you don't pay, they might come and kill you. They're called a vaccinator.
So I thought these were people who administered vaccines, COVID vaccines.
No, a vaccinator. It's a term that came to us from Colombia. It means to shake someone down. You have a pharmacy or a shop, you have to pay them.
We're going to go to the most expensive region, or as the locals say, the most expensive urbanization in all of Ecuador. What's this called?
Plaza Lagos.
Plaza Lagos. Interestingly, the most dangerous city in Ecuador is simultaneously the wealthiest city also. Guayaquil is the country's business capital, and that doesn't apply only to the drug business. Plaza Lagos is a special region of this mega city located completely on water. You could only get to it by crossing a specially guarded bridge, basically making it a fortress.
Many gangs have relocated to these private domains, and as a result, the danger levels across all of Guayaquil have leveled out. And that means the gangs don't just live in the poor regions now, but also in these ones which are traditionally inhabited by people with money. A house there can set you back from $500,000 to $2 million.
While you ascend, you realize it's like you've entered a completely different world. Even though this region is only a kilometer or two from the most dangerous region, Iran.
That's the University of the Holy Spirit, the most expensive educational establishment in the country. Tuition fees there are very high.
On approach to Plaza Lagos, we see tall palm trees growing. No outsiders are allowed into any part of this city area.
Buenas. Can I pass? No, where are you going? I just want to pass. Can I really not? No, you can't. But we're shooting a film. We won't be long.
I'm a blogger. I just want to film a little.
He won't bother anyone. I said no. Well, where can I turn around?
So there you have it, guys. You can't even enter there. Just entering the island is a no-go. Relatives of the presidents live there, along with only the most affluent of Ecuador's residents. So there's that. I won't tell you how we got into this world of luxury. There is security everywhere. But we did. Guys, there isn't just a police officer here on every corner, but there are 2 or 3 of them on every corner. There is a huge amount of them. Every square meter is controlled here, so even a mouse couldn't slip by. Expensive cars, chic houses. It's like we're not in Ecuador, but even a photo on a bench. Check it out. The local rich folk ask well-armed guards to take it. Very soon after, the guard noticed my camera too and forbade me to film with it. I can't film here?
No, Stas. You can take a photo like a tourist, but not with that camera. Yeah, you can with that camera.
But what's the difference whether I take a photo on this camera or film a video? Well, okay. So we set off to walk around the city center. So what is the average salary here, roughly?
The salary now for work in the civil service is $460.
Minimum.
Minimum. But that's only for legal work, official work. In unofficial work, there's no standard. Many live on $20.
Really?
Of course.
On only $20 a month?
Exactly, because they've no official job. At the moment, I work here officially.
As a doctor?
Yeah, a doctor, a trauma physician.
And I'm a teacher. A teacher.
A teacher, okay. So it's just you both. You have typical jobs, a doctor and a teacher. What is the salary here for a doctor and a teacher? Now, I'm not asking for your personal salaries, just...
No worries. I don't mind if you ask. Since I work in a private school, in private schools, salaries start from $600 and higher.
Okay.
Why $600? $600 isn't a lot. Although the minimum salary now in Ecuador is $435, $600 is nothing. But since in Ecuador you pretty much don't need any form of education to work as a teacher, you don't get asked.
For a diploma or anything else?
Yeah, you just need experience. You do a bunch of tests. What's characteristic of them? This bunch of tests will have questions like, do you use drug dealing services? What's your attitude to drugs? There's a ton of questions about drugs.
Really?
A whole lot. I was shocked because I was examined by 2 different psychologists. I did IQ tests, and every other question was about drugs. I was genuinely shocked.
Well, it's the nature of the local area, I guess.
Yeah, the ins and outs. On top of that, people barely even smoke tobacco here. You won't see a lot of smokers. I've seen someone a couple times in my whole life here. So yeah, salaries. My salary is $1,000. Naturally, I pay taxes. Close to $70 go on taxes, on insurance, and that's considered to be a good salary. But there are private schools where the salaries go up to $1,500.
Uh-huh. Ronaldo didn't want to disclose his salary, but he told me a little later how much physicians in Ecuador will make on the whole.
Standard salary for a standard physician, starts at $1,400.
Whoa, $1,400?
Yeah, and if we're talking about a specialist, then that's $2,700.
Wow, okay, that's a lot more.
And that's in a state hospital. If you work in a private clinic, you can earn more.
Also in Ecuador, taxes on income are low. On $1,000 a month and lower, there's no tax at all, as well as on communal taxes, which is why more than 90% of this sum is left for living. So, my dear teachers and doctors, write how much you earn in the areas where you work. It'd be interesting to compare it with the rates of an unwealthy equatorial Latin American country.